Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another edition of the JP Peterson Show here today on this beautiful Monday in lovely St. Petersburg, coming to you live from the RHS TV studios here. Remember, download that RHS TV app and you can watch us in beautiful, glorious HD on your biggest TV right there in your home. We got so much to get to today. It's been a very busy weekend. You can see how golden tan I am for being out at Zephyr Hills, Sarah Vandenberg Tennis Complex doing the PPL inaugural season, the Master of Ceremonies, which is Padel League, which we're not going to talk a lot about, maybe a little bit later on. But that's what I've been doing all weekend, but certainly staying very in tune with what's going on here locally. And we've got a big story brewing. The Athletic broke a story over the weekend about the Rays possibly being sold to a local owner, Dan Doyle. I have digested John Romano's column in the Times, and I have some very different opinions and or facts to counter a lot of what was in that particular column, because most of that obviously is coming from Stu Sternberg and the Rays. So we'll let that be just what it is. So we'll give a little bit more context to that, some of the conversations that I've had with others. Dan Doyle is the prospective buyer, according to The Athletic. He is the owner of Dex Imaging, who has been a big sponsor of the Rays and the Lightning and the Buccaneers. Been a real estate developer in this area as well. Very prominent businessman, very highly regarded in the area, and certainly would make a tremendous local owner here in Tampa Bay, and someone I think could be a tremendous asset for getting the deals done that need to be done to make sure that the Rays are competitive well into the distant future. So I'm going to get to that in just a little bit. I'll give you the show lineup here today. Dan Lucas is going to join us at 10:15 from Channel 8. We'll talk some Rays baseball. We'll talk some Bucks. We'll talk some, I'm sure we're going to talk some golf as well. Brooks Koepka winning it, and, of course, the story of Michael Block, which is absolutely insane. We'll be talking about that. That's my favorite story of the weekend. So Dan Lucas will join us. El Bushman will join us at 11 o'clock to talk some Rays baseball. He's got a very highly regarded Rays baseball podcast, so we'll chat with him about that. John Gerber, our local professional PGA pro and the founder of DSP Media, our partner, will join us. He is a PGA pro, as I mentioned, just like Michael Block. So we'll get a great perspective from him. Probably knows Michael Block in some way, shape, or form, but we'll chat with him about what happened there. And, of course, the win by Brooks Koepka, a live guy, right? This is all the controversy. He was winning tournaments before he was on the live tournament tour, by the way. So remember that on the PGA Tour. So we'll talk some Brooks Koepka and Michael Block with John Gerber. And Chris Lugo will join us from Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris does not take insurance. They do not take insurance over there, more of a concierge medical provider. And we're going to talk why that's much better for people these days because of the ridiculous insurance demands that are put on doctors and things they can and cannot do. And most of those things they can't do are probably beneficial for your health. So it seems like a little bit of a controversy. So we'll talk about why that may be the best way for you to go in terms of your primary care. So we try to keep you healthy here as well, not only up here, but your entire body, mind, soul. All right, so I want to get into the Rays thing first. The Athletic reported that Dan Doyle and Dex Imaging are very interested in purchasing the Rays. I did not see anywhere in that column or in the Athletic reporting that he was interested in partnering with Stu Sternberg. The Times article from Romano seems to think that that's more of a likelihood, and that could be coming from Stu. Well, it's obviously coming from Stu Sternberg. So I don't know. I really don't know what the case is on that. I will tell you this: that since that came out, I've been trying to get to Dan Doyle and speak with him personally. We have some mutual friends, so I'm efforting their help in trying to get to Dan Doyle Jr. and talk to him and find out what exactly his plans are. As far as I know right now, he has not done any interviews. So we're going to try to get to that and find out what exactly he's thinking. But what the Athletic was saying is that he's interested in purchasing the entire team. Now, I also talked to Bob Maldonado from Whitecap Sports, and I said, I said, what would the price tag be for something like this? And he brokers teams, of course. Did I say Melandro? Sorry, Bob Melandro from Whitecap Sports. It was one of our sponsors a few months ago. And he talked to me about the purchase price would likely be between about 1.5 billion right now to purchase the Rays. The Marlins went for about 1.2. Stu bought the team for about 200 million, of which about 50 million was his, and he has since capitalized and taken over 90% of the ownership. Of course, if you go to the lawsuit that was filed against him by his partners, his limited partners, for fiduciary fraud, and we've talked about this ad nauseum on this particular show, that where he has $500 million put into a separate company, and most of that money coming from the upfront payment that he got from Fox Sports, or the regional sports network at that time, which is now called Bally's. Got a lot of an upfront payment. Very smart man. Saw what was coming. So he secured that and put that into a different account according to this lawsuit, and then of course charged his partners the income, what would have been taxable income, where they would have to pay taxes on it without actually getting any of the income, which is part of the problem and the lawsuit. But be that as it may. And by the way, Dan Doyle Sr. was one of the original owners of the Rays through Vince Namoli. And when I guess when Namoli was out, I think those shares probably went away at that particular time, or he sold them at that particular time. I'm not sure how that worked, and whether the Doyle family was part of the limited partners that were originally involved with Stu Sternberg. I'm not sure about that. Still researching that, which could come into play in some ways. So and again, I don't know if this would be a purchase where from what the Athletic is reporting, it looks like he wants to buy the entire team. Now, what would that mean for the stadium situation? Well, it's long been my thought, through conversations that I've had with very different parties, that Stu Sternberg would want to get a stadium deal and secure all that income for himself, and whatever ways he could do that particular project. He could take some of the money himself. That's why he has this separate other company that he put this other money into. Could perhaps be why. But this, Stu is going to do what's best for Stu. Let's just be honest about that. He's not going to do what's best for baseball in the area. He's not going to do what's best for the Rays in the long term. Stu, in my opinion, is going to do what's going to benefit Stu the most in terms of money. And that could be that could be getting the stadium deal done in St. Petersburg, where they're going to get part of those rights, and then that money comes to him and he secures it into a different company, and that's not part of purchasing the Rays. Right now, it would be part of purchasing the Rays, because you would be purchasing the lease of what Stu already has, and that's with Tropicana Field, and he gets those redevelopment rights as well. So that all goes to him. Now, he could cut that deal and then take that money out of the business and say, okay, I'm selling you just the Rays. You're not getting the lease or the redevelopment money or any of that other stuff. That would certainly benefit Stu Sternberg, not the Rays' long-term future. But a buyer would come in and negotiate that and obviously put that into the deal. So it is what it is. It would make that buyer, it would make it harder for them to go forward and run the club, because that money's been taken out. Also, that money that has been taken out from the first 10 years of the regional television deal, if the new ownership is not getting any of that money, it would be hard for them to run the team. So it seems like a lot of this strategy is get as much money out of it as you can, secure that money, and then sell the Rays as that piece. So which is fine. I mean, that's on the table. It would just make it more difficult for an incoming owner to then operate the team with a good payroll, even if you're doing a deal in Tampa. Now, and this is where I want to come to this part of it. And this is why I would think Stu would get the stadium deal done and then sell the team. That's what I've heard is his most likely strategy, because he can max out getting the appreciation on the team, which at this point would be about $1.3 billion. Now, interesting, Bob Melandro told me this from Whitecap. Again, he deals with these highly complex transactions with major league teams and major sports franchises. If the stadium deal is done, depending on how the deal is done, the devil's always in the details, but if it was normally done and a lot of those revenues weren't taken out, then it would go from maybe $1.5 billion valuation to $2.3 billion, with a new stadium deal and be worth more if the stadium deal was in Tampa, because obviously the revenues would be higher in Tampa. Now, does Stu Sternberg care about that? No, not going forward. He does not care about that. If he were to sell the team, he would not care about revenues going forward. Why would he? But you would care because as a Rays fan, you want those revenues to go to the team that's buying it now. Now, they'll be fully aware that they won't have those revenues, but, still makes it more difficult. So I'm talking to you as a fan. What would be best for you as a fan? Now, again, Stu can do all these things. He can take all that money out before this deal's even done. He's already taken, as I said, that big chunk out of the regional television deal and secured that. So now if he does, and this is where I think he's going because he can max out the deal. And keep in mind that Major League Baseball wants the deal done in Tampa, wants it done on the Tampa side, so that the revenues will be higher, and whoever owns that team, they don't have to be revenue sharing checks to anymore. Are you following me? I know this is complex, but it's all about the money. Shocking development. So he does. Major League Baseball wants them in Tampa for that reason. They do not want revenue share. They want revenues to be at their highest. Obviously, they know that they're not getting the highest revenues in St. Petersburg. That's why they don't want the team there. That's why Manfred has said that. They know that. If you move it to the middle of the market where all the businesses are and the corporations are, and you have premium seating, all like the Braves did, move it to where your fans are, right? And then you can sell the premium seating to all the corporations. This is where the big money comes in. Okay, so revenues will be much higher in Tampa. Ken Hagan was on the other day, and obviously Hillsborough County, he has a vested interest, but this is a fact. It is not this is not in dispute. Revenues will be much higher on the Tampa side, and that's the whole idea of doing it. So, again, I think I think Stu's play is. He's already suckered in St. Petersburg by getting the development rights without having to guarantee building a stadium there. Now, why you would give the development rights to an entity like the Rays and not make them guarantee they were putting a stadium there is complete folly to me, but that's what St. Petersburg has done. So Mayor Welch has done. So the Rays could now get the redevelopment money that they're going to get because they have been chosen to be the redevelopers, and they could now say, you know what, we don't want the deal in St. Pete. We're going to build a stadium over here, but we can do something over here like a convention center, and I'm still part of it because you chose me. We're the Rays and Hines, so he can have the best of both worlds. And then if he wants to sell the Rays, as he's already done the deal in Tampa, which, as I said, the valuation would go from about 1.5 to 2.3 billion. Now, and you have a stadium deal done in Tampa, now he gets all that revenue as well with the higher price. So, which strategy do you think he's using? which one would you, if you were the owner of the Rays, which strategy would you use? Exactly. So I'm not saying this is definitely what's going to happen. I know Hillsborough County is very wary of a lot of these things that are happening. So they're going to do a deal that is good for them regardless of who the owner is, which is a smart thing to do. So we'll see. There's a lot, obviously, that has to happen here. There's a lot of different permutations that can happen, but these are all options that are on the table. All options that are on the table. So we shall see where that goes. As far as the Rays themselves, a nice weekend. They take 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee. Josh Lowe is just getting smoking red hot, but their pitching right now is, especially the bullpen, is not good. It's a disaster. And this is all because you've lost 3 starters, essentially. You only have 2 full-time starters, so you're trying to use the bullpen to get through all these other innings. Guys aren't going to be fresh. They're in roles that they're not used to being in, and it's a tough slog. It's been a tough slog for a little bit since they've lost all these pitchers. And unfortunately, this happens to be more the rule than the exception for the Rays, which I'm sad to say I don't see changing anytime soon. It's just the way they use their pitchers, the health of their pitchers, etc. It's just the way it goes. So, unfortunately, this is something that the Rays are going to have to battle through. Now, the good news is Tyler Glass now is penciled in to start on Friday. Had his last rehab start at Durham. So hopefully, and we're not expecting him to go 7 innings, right? If you get 4 out of him, you'll be thrilled and build him up to get to 5 or 6 and maybe hopefully one day get him to 7. But somebody has to eat those innings. And those are the less experienced, the less talented pitchers. And the Rays are going to have to continue to score 8 runs a game if they're going to continue this hot pace. And, oh, by the way, the Baltimore Orioles are 2.5 games behind them. With this historic start, the Rays are only 2.5 games ahead of the Orioles. And here come the Blue Jays. to town starting tonight. So it's the schedule doesn't ease up on them. Having very little pitching in terms of starters is going to catch up with him. It already has, is what it is. All right, let's bring in our good friend Dan Lucas from News Channel 8 to join me here today. Good morning, Dan. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, my good man. I just heard you.
Hold on.
Oh,
I got to get all the Nick. By the way, Nick is not here in case you guys didn't know that, and we're make sure that we here. Let's try now. See if we got the.
how's that? How's that, JP? How we doing there?
No, don't.
Oh boy.
Check. We have you yet? Is it on your end?
How's that?
Are you muted on your end?
Let's take a look here. No, Mike's good.
Nope. Unmute Mike. You're good on this
end.
end.
There we go. It says it is.
You know what? We're going to do? We're going to take a break and we're going to finish this. That's what we'll do. All right. Stand up. Sorry about that. That was pretty loud. All right. Stand by. We'll take a break. We will get Dan Lucas on here momentarily. Back at 3. Experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had. It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by, never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, check out the Jeeves Law Group. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com. Tell them JP sent you. Get a free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves has been representing clients in the Tampa Bay area for over 25 years. Give them a call. It's a free call. 727-894-2929. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. During COVID, over 1.7 million people were added to the Florida Medicaid rolls, but as of April 1st, 2023, most of these people may not be eligible for the Medicaid coverage and will lose their health plan. If you have been notified you are losing your coverage, don't freak out. It's very likely you can apply for a federal subsidy under the Affordable Care Act. Just call 877-652-0244. Our representatives will walk you through the whole process, get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. You can select great plans like Florida Blue, that's my carrier, love them, paying $800 less after making the call. 877-652-0244. Our highly trained professionals know the new law. All the work, you save tons of money. So if you're being dropped from Medicaid, fear not. Call 877-652-0244. Get real health insurance, free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back. Let's try to get Dan Lucas on here one more time. All right, Luke, give me a test.
This is live, the live sound check.
I don't know
You
what's
got me
going
now?
on. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. I'll try one
Can't
more
live
thing.
without
Let's press
Nick.
that button. We'll press this button. Still no Luke.
Nick.
Press this button.
Nick.
Nope. How about this?
Oh.
Nope. That was echo.
Wow.
I can't hear you, brother. Let me see where my comments are coming. Can the people out there hear me? I can hear him just fine. Okay. All right. That's where the problem is. You guys can hear him and I can't hear him. So let's do something else because I can't really do an interview without hearing you. Can I hear you now? This is great. We're doing this on the air.
JP, this is great.
Nope,
This
still
is
can't hear
behind the scenes, baby.
you. Can I hear you now? Nope.
Hello, hello.
All right, this is great. This is fantastic stuff. He's going to hear him, and I can't hear him. All right, last chance. I'm going to do another break, and then we'll see if we can fix this on the other end. Hopefully, we'll be back in 1 minute. We'll have the great Dan Lucas. Stay with us. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on TrueBody and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813- count on to pay fast and fair. We'll call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support.
Gotcha. I hear you. I hear you.
Can't hear. But it's the customer service
Got you. I hear you.
Shop
I hear
all your
you. I
insurance
hear
needs
you.
and save you big-time money.
I can hear you. Just lost programming, but I can hear you.
All right, we're going to give this a shot here. Dan, can you hear me? I can hear you?
I can hear you. I hear you just fine, JP.
All right, there we go. We fixed it. This is going back to the old technology without headphones and everything else. Oh, I just love it. I just absolutely. This is what happens when Nick's not here. Although Nick's trying to fix it, he can't fix it either. So whatever. How are you, partner? Good to have you on.
My first thought was, oh, God, Nick is off today. What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? This is tremendous.
Yeah, he's had this problem too, but what have you. So anyway, I know this story was actually I've got everything so screwed up here. I got my banners wrong. Let's talk about the PGA Championship. It's got to be your favorite story. Michael Block of the weekend.
By the way, JP, I have the rundown in case you were going to go. Number 3 was Michael Block. So you got me right, dude. Michael Block.
Well, listen, it's got to be my favorite story because every one of us middle-aged guys who play golf dream of one day, making it to the U.S. Open or becoming a PGA Tour pro who gets into PGA Championship and gets to play with Rory McIlroy and get a hole-in-one on the fly. I mean, come on, man. This crap doesn't happen. This is amazing.
Closest thing you've ever seen to Tin Cup. I mean,
yes.
The Kevin Costner. Only thing missing was Cheech Moran carrying the bag. That would have been great.
Does he not look like Kevin Costner?
Yeah, he kind of does, doesn't he?
Looks like Kevin Costner. If it was like, who's going to play him in the movie? I'm like, duh.
Did you see the commercial that was drummed up on social media, an old commercial of his golf club out in California where he's basically advertising for the club? It's not.
No, I have not. Like this is you got special?
Oh, he's like, come on out to the club. He's like, we'll let you hit some balls. We'll teach you how to, hit. And he goes, or not. And then he goes through the options at the club. He goes, you could get married out here or not. It's just hilarious. And it's just right out of like the small time. That's what really hit it home from, the Tin Cup thing was, who's this guy from the middle of nowhere on the big stage. And I was just the hole-in-one. He was already a developing story.
Right.
And I was busy Saturday, so I was kind of late to the story. I read about him, and I didn't know what I was going to see on Sunday. All of a sudden, this guy holes out. He jarred it, as they say, and he didn't even know if it went in.
Yeah. No, that was the crazy part. He's like, Rory was like, it went in. He's like, really? No, it didn't. He got halfway up the fairway. He still didn't believe he made the shot.
It reminds me of years and years ago. I was playing in a family golf tournament up in Pennsylvania, and I was so bad. And we get up to this par 3. It's one of those par 3s where you're hitting like 125 yards, but you're like 50 yards above the hole. You're like hitting down a mountain practically, so nobody knows what club to use. So I just go up and hit. I haven't hit anything all day, and it was the hole that had the closest to the pen competition.
No way.
And I hit it, and it kind of felt I'm like, the trajectory coming off the tee looked okay.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, next thing I know, ball mark is like 4 feet past the hole, and it spins back to inches. And no one else was even on the green. And like 2 groups ahead of us full of uncles and stuff, they're all watching this. You would have thought I was some tour pro. I was out there hacking that place. I got closest to the pin on the one shot I made out of the 104 or whatever I had that day.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was tremendous. That's what I thought of. What a great story. And by the way, he's going to play next week. And the Canadian Open, I believe, is the tournament.
Colonial.
And then
is it
qualified
Colonial?
for the.
I think it's Colonial.
I think maybe you're right.
Yeah.
And then the PGA Championship again next year. So
yeah.
That changes. When they say it's life-changing, it's instantly life-changing for him because maybe he thought he was going to fly back to California today, be on the tee teaching, Bonnie how to hit the 5 iron. But he's got to adjust his schedule now. There's going to be a little bit of an expense.
Yeah.
And maybe it takes off for him. Who knows?
Yeah. Listen, he played pretty damn well on one of the hardest courses. I think Dustin Johnson shot 10 over this week. This guy was +1. I mean, he bested a lot of good. He was even saying, he's like, I'm a pretty good player. I can play. But he goes, obviously out here, it's just a totally different deal. It's all mindset. And the fact of the matter is, he stood up for 4 rounds. I mean, it was, he started to become a story on Thursday and Friday. And on Thursday, and then he on Friday and Saturday, he's got these crowds going bananas. And the hole-in-one was just ridiculous. But what about the up and down on 18 to get the top 15 to get into next year's PGA Championship? I mean, that was unbelievable. And then the putt just hangs on the lip and then just goes, oh, what the hell? Yeah, let's give it to the
goes in.
Right,
yeah,
it goes in. Right?
That's divine intervention.
Yes.
It's 20,000 people around the green going. that will always help out your cause. It also. Have you seen the series on Netflix, Full Swing?
Yes.
Yeah. Remember
where
the
Brooks
Joel
Koepka made himself and his girlfriend look like complete asses? Yes, I've seen it. Yes.
Well, they happened to catch Brooks at an all-time low for him.
Yeah.
He was mentally low. He was coming off physical issues, and of course they were going through the whole live thing at the beginning of the live controvery. So no, I didn't put him in a good light. So the timing was bad for Brooks. I thought it was kind of a neat, not really a redemption, but more of a sign that you know what, no, this he is what he is, and he's been playing well on the live tour. He won in Orlando. Yeah. But the Joel Dameron episode where the guy who's with his old buddy.
Oh, yeah.
And he qualified for the U.S. Open. That's what Michael Block's story reminded me of a little bit. And Dameron, kind of a guy is like, I don't really, whatever, man. I'm just out here having a good time. He's gone through personal hardships, and that's the way he copes with it. And I think a lot of people just fell in love with the guy. And this is kind of similar. I don't really know the whole history of Michael Block, but I'm sure there's, everybody's got personal things they've overcome. So I would imagine that he's done some things himself, and like you said, he's a good player. And in these major tournaments, with the way they jack up the rough, instead of spot to spot in the fairway in a major, you might be better off going bunker to bunker.
Yeah, exactly.
You can at least do something with the golf ball, because when you go in the rough, it's over, baby. And a lot of these big names had trouble just keeping it in play. Good for him. It's a great story.
It's funny, at the end of Tin Cup, right? Renee Russo has that line where she says, listen, in 5 years, nobody's going to remember who won the U.S. Open, but they'll never forget your 12 on 18,
right.
Whatever it was on 18. And I kind of feel like, it's a great moment for Brooks, but nobody's going to remember that. Right? Nobody's going to remember the hole-in-one by Michael Block, his taking over the whole week. Everybody's going to – when you're asked in 10 years, who won the 2023 PGA Championship, people are going to go, Michael Block, right?
Michael Block won.
He was on the green with the crystal, right? I remember that. And it was funny in that interview that he did with Scott Van Pelt. He did, like, you're cool wearing your AirPods there. The AirPod interview, he said, my professional goal has always been the low PGA Tour Pro at the PGA Championship, and to be standing on the 18th with the eventual winner. And so he reached his goal this week. That was his goal. He reached
to reassess.
Yeah, and it's time to reassess. Yeah, that's what he said. Look, and the whole family thing too. His wife was there, and his boys are such big fans of him, and his boys are the ones who've been like, Dad, don't quit, Dad, don't quit. And it chokes me up even thinking about it, right? If your kid's like, Dad, and then you go out and do that, come on, man.
Sometimes your kids have the perspective that you need kind of the kick in the butt. To get back into, because we as adults, life happens, jobs happen. You're worried about whatever, paying the payments and all that stuff, and so you got a lot of crap on your mind. And then one day your kid says, "No, don't give up on your dream," and it's a moment. How many parents have had that happen? No matter what you do, it's awesome. There was one moment yesterday after Koepka walked off 18. All the stuff that wasn't bleeped out, of course. He walked up to Michael Block and he goes, "Hey, I hear you're buying."
That's a great one. That's a great one. It. For those of you who don't know, if you get a hole-in-one, you buy for everybody that you're playing with. And if you're in a tournament, that extends to everybody, which I found out one of my first hole-in-one. In a group of about 45 Irish guys in Ireland.
That's a big mistake.
That's a big mistake. Thank God my uncle-in-law picked up the tab, because he knew my credit card wouldn't cover it.
If you're gonna hit a hole-in-one, do it on a public muni with no one around, maybe your buddy,
and dollar beers.
Yeah, exactly. Beers. This is gonna cost me $60. Oh. Don't do it at a country club, because once word gets around, that clubhouse will suddenly fill up.
That's right. Well, it's funny because that happened at Palm Beach a few weeks back, and they have now hard, fast rules. You can buy insurance, number one, and number two, it's like only the people you're playing with, not everybody that's at the club, and only at the outside stand. You can't. So whatever. It's a little easier.
What are you doing in here? You don't play golf here. Yeah, I live over here I live on Howard.
I was in the gym and I heard Joe hit a hole-in-one.
Howard, man. Exactly.
No,
Let's go.
Doesn't work that way, pal.
Yeah.
Go back to the gym. As a precursor, I'm playing Golden Ocala on Friday, and I played like crap. It was awful. And on the last hole, I'm in the bunker on 18, big 8-foot lip in front of me. I can't even see the bottom of the stick, right? And I'm like, what the F? Thump, throw it right in the hole, just like Block did from the bunker. I slam dunked it. First time I've ever had a slam dunk in my life, just like Block. And I'm like, of course, you shoot 105, and this is what brings you back. The golf gods are like, we'll throw him a bone. We'll throw
Exactly.
him a bone.
Every time you make a shot, even though that's a great shot, but every time you make a good shot or a decent putt, and you're out in the middle of nowhere, and it's 3 guys and a bunch of palmettos around you, you just kind of wave to the palmettos.
That was me.
That's for you. The rattlesnakes are cheering. Yeah, you got it, boys.
Yeah, at least I had some witnesses. That's about all I can say.
Exactly.
So, is there any postscript at all for Brooks Koepka here? I mean, it should have been a great story. You know, a guy who comes back from almost retiring. You know, he couldn't get out of bed. His knees were so bad. I mean, all this stuff, and you know, he's gone through a lot of adversity. A former major champion. You know, we should be celebrating this, but with all the live crap. And then, as you said, anybody who watched Full Swing, I don't think came away from that going, "Oh wow, I love Brooks Koepka and his wife. They're so cute. They're such a cute, cuddly couple." Like,
well, it didn't help matters. It didn't help matters in that episode, and you got to watch the episode to truly get the perspective. But you know, Brooks Koepka is not living in a shack, and life is pretty decent overall. But his wife was sitting poolside. She's got the big floppy hat on and the sunglasses, and she says everything was just so much better when he was playing well. I'm like, you know what? We should give her shift start, honey.
We should give her some honesty points, if nothing else. At least,
exactly.
At least she had the cojones to call it like she sees it. You know what? Whatever.
Exactly.
So
that is an 8-foot putt. That was an 8-foot putt, and you left it short.
That could have been another Gucci bag for me. God damn it!
Sorry, that was $150,000 8-footer.
That was 2 more Louis bags. Dadgummit.
Exactly.
What are you doing to me? I'm leaving your ass. You go with that Jason Damron guy, whatever the hell his name is.
Well, but Brooks Koepka is playing really good golf. Obviously, to win a major, you have to be doing that. But he has been up on the Live leaderboard. We do the highlights on Sundays for Live, so I pay attention to these tournaments, and I'm telling you, it's growing on me. The golf, the quality in the tournament it is good golf, and he has been steadily up and up and up and in contention, and leading his team. They do the team things on Live, which I think is kind of a cool concept. So he's been rising, and I think he's back. It's unfortunate that we can't see everybody together again, get the band together, because when you see the names on the Live Tour, it does kind of punch you in the stomach a little bit, and you're like, I don't want to sit here and get involved in people's feelings on it, but it's like, man, I just miss having all these guys together, where 4 or 5 of these guys are going to be duking it out on Sunday. For us, it's a blast. And as we saw on that series, we're selling Netflix subscriptions, by the way, by doing this.
Yeah. They need the help.
A lot of these guys, they fly together. Some of them stay together. They all know each other. They razz each other in the clubhouse and over lunch and breakfast. And it's a small fraternity. It just, to me, it's more fun if everybody's together. So having them separate right now is an issue for the fans.
I agree. It's just not good for golf. It's just not good for golf, you know. But the PGA Tour had to get a kick in the ass to do things they should have been doing a long time ago. But, you know, just like with college football, it took, you know, some outside entity to come fix your business that you could have fixed yourself and saved us all the hassle. But it is what it is. What else is on the rundown there? You got it.
Let's go to the rundown. I was going to lead with Glasnow and Stu.
Yeah, all right, let's go quick, Glasnow. You know, the key word being glass. Do you think
I just want the guy to stay – I just want him to stay healthy. Just go – that's the thing. He's so much fun to watch. And the rehab starts have been absolute dominance. You can say what you want about what he's going up against. He's going up against major league talent in many of those at-bats. Yeah. He went 6 innings yesterday, He's at the pitch count they want him at. He says he's feeling comfortable. I think he was ready after his third start, and the Rays said, no, make that fourth start on Sunday and let's see. And he was so efficient that I don't think he got to 60. He barely got to 60 pitches, went through 6 innings, gave up 1 run. But he's striking guys out left and right. That, to me, is the velocity and the location that they're looking for. It's just a matter now, is he comfortable? And I think, end of the week, we're going to see him pitching for the Rays, which is much, much needed for sure.
Okay, and I say Glass, and, I don't mean to be nasty or anything, but he just is, he needs a glass case everywhere he goes, it seems like. But if he can, he's the key to this season, really. If he can stay healthy the rest of the way, as dominant as he is, and we love the guy, he's such an awesome dude. Everybody's pulling for him. He's always around at Lightning games. He's at Bucks games. He's a man about town. He's always taking pictures. He's just a great dude. And if he could stay healthy, and you could have him, Eflin, and Shane McClanahan. Fleming's not been bad, but we can get the rest of those pitchers healthy. And Taj Bradley certainly has the stuff to be a great starter. Yeah, they can continue this. The bottom line is they're 2.5 games ahead of the Orioles, which is nothing.
Yeah.
Great start has been fantastic. All these great records about home runs have been great. The bottom line is your bullpen is already taxed and done, and they have not been good. Even Adam and Fairbanks are struggling because it's just too much on them. So if Glass now can't go the rest of the way, I don't think they're going to be able to hold on and do anything.
Yeah, Glasnow's presence is needed more or less, as you mentioned. The bullpen's taxed, but it's not. The back end is what we see and what we recognize.
Right.
But Kevin Cash is, he's having to open games. I think Trevor Kelly's opening tonight against the Blue Jays.
Trevor Kelly.
It's just
Leroy Kelly, who's not in
the lineup. When you wake up. When you look at the probables and you see, McClanahan's going on Wednesday, thank God.
Yeah.
At least because I know there's going to be innings eaten up.
Right.
Maybe some guys are going to be, have a chance to recover a little bit. Eflin to follow him. You put Glasnow in the mix. Now you got 3. And Glasnow, I believe there's a start. No, I think it goes McClanahan, Eflin, Glasnow in a row. I think that's how it would shape up.
Yeah.
That's 3 days of, you would presume, 6 innings.
Yeah.
Give some of these middle guys and maybe one of your back end guys a day. This is brutal. This is why Kevin Cash is brilliant working with what he has. But at some point, it's the old saying, can't make chicken salad out of what.
Exactly.
It's just you can't. It's not sustainable. And 34 wins. And if you look at the whole picture in baseball, all the divisions. There's a lot of just bad baseball going on. Some bad teams, way under 500, and they're in second place in their divisions. And here's the AL East, absolutely motoring and rolling over everybody. You win 34 games, you should be up by 10.
Yeah.
You're up by 2.5. So the Orioles are red hot. They just swept the Blue Jays up in Toronto. So there's no forgiveness. There's no forgiveness. You lose 2 games this weekend, you could be tied. You could be behind.
Yeah,
so
I know
it's pressure.
So all these, I think Rays fans are like, we'll make the playoffs. We're going to be fine. If Tyler Glasnow doesn't stay healthy, and if that's the linchpin of this entire season, which it just might be because it filters down to the bullpen, that's not good. That's not good. But we'll pray that the Rays will figure it out because they always do. They always
possibly, now Eric Neander has to be, he's got to be looking at options as well.
Right.
Because you can go get a guy. You need to go get a guy. And you feel like you got a team that can compete and this team can compete. We're almost in June, for crying out loud.
Right.
It's time to consider the long term for the season. And I think that Eric Neander
get a dependable starter. You don't need a number 1 guy. You just need some guy that can give you maybe 100, 120 innings from here on out. And that would, maybe around a 4 ERA will take it with this offense. That's going to get the job done. All right. Lastly, you had Stu there on the rundown.
Yeah, Stu was on the rundown today as well. Yeah.
Enter Dan Doyle Jr. Dex Imaging. Could he be the long lost? His dad had a piece of the original Rays. How interesting is that? and he's a real estate developer and owns Dex Imaging right now. Has deep pockets, that's for sure. Owner of Pelican, and could he be the guy that saves us and keeps us from building a stadium where it should not be built in St. Petersburg, and gets the deal done in Tampa, and finally we have some local ownership. That's that's always been my hope. Could this be the guy?
I have to wonder if it is sole. I don't know if it's sole ownership though. I think he's, when you look at his assets and then little Google searches and then what is Dex worth and all this stuff. It looks to me like a partnership of some portion and of some kind. And what will his strength or role be in a partnership, and can that influence the ballpark issue? Because right now, as it stands, it's St. Peter bust, and everybody knows they're trying to kick this effort over back to Tampa. Is he the guy that finally puts that over the hump? As you know, you're well tuned in to the pieces that are active in Tampa. They're not that far away,
no.
But they need something to get it over the hump, which ironically the hump over the Howard Franklin hump, no traffic. Yes. And maybe this can be the difference. That was my takeaway from his involvement. I don't think it would be a complete handover and then he's going to announce, all right, we are now moving to Tampa. I think it would be a collective thing. The whole outside ownership guys lining up to this, that's my word is always diligence. And these are people who are looking at expansion. It's actually probably cheaper to buy the Rays than to get into Major League expansion. But Rob Manfred has his tail between his legs a little bit on the Oakland A's issue. And finally just had to say, all right, screw it, go to Vegas. This is his last – losing the Rays in the Tampa Bay area is his last string of credibility, in my opinion, on his watch, having this disaster take place. And I don't think it's going to happen.
No, they want to stay in Tampa Bay, and they know that Tampa's the better side. And my whole monologue was on, that's where all the majority of the revenue is. Your revenues would be so much higher in Tampa. Everybody knows that. Major League Baseball wants that. They want to stop giving revenue sharing checks to Stu. So everybody wants it there. And I think Stu, this has always been part of his plan, that he uses St. Pete to get the best deal he can in Tampa. He tricked St. Pete into giving him the development rights,
right?
Whether he builds a stadium there or not, which was brilliant on his part. So he now, and by the way, if you're St. Pete, why would you give someone the development rights who owns the team without them guaranteeing they're going to put the stadium there?
Right.
What are you thinking? So I think what he's going to do is secure those rights, build in Tampa, so he makes the money in St. Pete and he makes the money in Tampa, and then maybe sell the team outright to Doyle or bring Doyle in as an investor as that Thursday. Because Ken Hagan said that on Thursday when he did in the interview with us, and they met with the Rays on Friday, by the way, or actually on Thursday. The TSA did. Eric Hart from the TSA, the outside counsel for Hillsborough County Commission, and the Rays met on Thursday. And then this Dan Doyle thing pops up on Sunday. That's interesting. The timing of that is interesting. So, and Ken was saying they have Daryl Shaw as a developer, but they need someone else to come in, maybe as a money person, to get them over top to get that deal done, and also sharing the development rights. And what is Dan Doyle besides own Dex Imaging? A real estate developer. So we're putting all the pieces together here. So, and this could be, so this could be the extra person they need in Tampa to get that deal done. And then Stu will also have development rights. They'll build a convention center in St. Petersburg, which is what they should build anyway. Everybody's happy. Can we go with that?
I agree. And when I saw the name Dan Doyle and looked and did a little bit of background on him, it was interesting to see his dad was involved in the Vince Namoli group. I thought, okay, this is probably not a repeat of history, but more or less him following in his dad's footsteps and probably being the piece that might get it over the hump for what everybody really wants in this. And that would be terrific. I just think it would be terrific for the Rays to just end this stigma, this national image. I'm sick and tired of it. The jokes, it's low-hanging fruit for those who aren't from this area or just want to make fun of the Rays. And, just sick of it. And let's just talk about the team being in first place and people like Aaron Boone getting kicked out of ball games and John Schneider screwing up, having to take his pitcher out over the weekend in Toronto. Let's talk about that instead.
Yes.
So we're talking about the ballpark.
Exactly. I mean, it should have been done by now. So hopefully this will be the missing piece. We shall see. I think a deal is going to get done. A deal has to be done by the end of the year. That's the real deadline. The end of this year, January of 24, is the real deadline to have a stadium ready to go by the 28th season. So we shall see. All right, my friend, what's coming up on Channel 8 Sports this week?
Well, tomorrow, I can't wait. We're going to go out and check out a little OTA action with the Bucks. And I want to see Baker Mayfield throw a football. I don't care if it's wobbly. I don't really care. I just want to see the guy run around and throw. That would make me happy. Then I feel like something's going forward. And this week, three teams in high school baseball: Jesuit today, tomorrow Sickles High School, and also Plant High School playing in semifinals at the state high school baseball championships. I love that because it's not only are they potential state champions every year, but also guys you're watching in the major leagues have come through these programs. And real quickly, if I may, the last thing in my rundown, sorry Nick's not here. Rowdies, they've won 4 in a row, and I want to just give a little nod to Neil Collins and the boys because they were in second to last place in the Eastern Conference there in the USL Championship. They're now in second place, knocking on the door of first place, which is where the Rowdies we expect them to be and should be. And they have all these new players, a lot of turnover on the roster this year, JP, and it did not look good for about 6, 7, 8 games. All of a sudden, this team is just kicking the crap out of everybody. And they're home Saturday night at Al Lang Stadium in St. Pete. It's always a blast to go out there. So the Rowdies are back on top and near the top where we expect them to be. So good turnaround. I always like to you got to get a little nod to it when the teams are playing well and they represent Tampa Bay as well as all the other teams. So good job by the Rowdies turning it around.
I got to get back out to a game and go sit with Ralph's mob. I haven't done that since I worked at Channel 8.
You have to breathe in. You got to breathe in the green and yellow smoke.
Yes.
That's where you got to work yourself up to.
That's one bad thing about being with Ralph's mob because you have to breathe in. In those 90 degrees days. Yeah, they could be a little ripe come this late second half.
Right. They scored 5 goals 2 weeks ago, and I'm walking. I was at the game with my son, and I'm walking out, and I'm like, dude, I can't drive. I'm under the influence of something. I don't know what I'm breathing in here.
Throw the keys to your 12-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. So.
No, he's not doing that. All right, Luke, great stuff, man. Follow him on Twitter at WFLA Dan. Thanks for being patient with my stupid ass here, but we got it done.
Bottom line.
You might want to stick around and see if I can run this commercial break. This is gonna be a
You might need me for round 2. I'm ready.
Freaking circus as well. So, all right, get out of here. Get out of here, Dan Lucas. See, I got to plug back in the corner. So you don't try to fake it on the air, folks. If you got to do this on the air, you just let people know, and then you do what you do the best you can. All right. Now I'll get my.
Try and get this going again. All right. We will take a quick break, and we will come back on the other side, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Evan El Bushman will join me, and we'll talk some Rays baseball. So here we go. Let the fun begin. Another quick break. Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents and not some voice-generated robot. These are confusing times for homeowners, and Italiano's team of experienced professionals can provide the right coverage for every situation: home, auto, business, life. It's Italiano for all the pieces of your life. Call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. During COVID, over 1.7 million people were added to the Florida Medicaid rolls, but as of April 1st, 2023, most of these people may not be eligible for the Medicaid coverage and will lose their health plan. If you have been notified you are losing your coverage, don't freak out. It's very likely you can apply for a federal subsidy under the Affordable Care Act. Just call 877-652-0244. Our representatives will walk you through the whole process, get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. You can select great plans like Florida Blue. That's my carrier. Love them. Paying $800 left after making the call. 877-652-0244. Our highly trained professionals know all the intricacies of the new laws. They will do all the work. You save tons of money. So if you're being dropped from Medicaid, fear not. Call 877-652-0244. Get real health insurance, free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Jeeves Law Group, JEEVS lawgroup.com, and Bay Area Modern Medical Center. We will be chatting with Chris Lugo from Bay Area Modern Medical Center a little bit later on in the show. John Gerber is going to join us around 11:15, our resident PGA Touring Pro, or PGA Pro, to talk about the great Michael Block story that happened over the weekend at the PGA. So lots more to come your way. All right, we're going to bring in our good friend, the great El Bushman, as you can find him on Twitter, the El Bushman. We call him Evan El Bushman. Now stand by, my friend. I got to switch over to this, and we'll see if we can make this work. So yeah, I know you know how this.
How about now? Now you got
perfect.
And we got you. Beautiful.
Perfect.
This is what we call jerry rigging things. The kids now call it a workaround. So we got it going. How you doing, partner?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on the show this morning.
I hear your podcast is blowing up, the Raise Rewind podcast. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, we are on the Believe Podcast Network right now. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday morning. We record previously on the Monday nights, myself and my co-host Drew. So yeah, every Tuesday morning around 9 o'clock, you can have a new episode of the Raise Rewind podcast, which you can subscribe on Believe and also Spotify. Yeah, man.
Well, awesome. Congrats on that. And, the Rays took 2 or 3 over the weekend, my friend, but there are storm clouds gathering. There are only 2.5 games up on the Orioles. The bullpen, let's just face it, is in shambles. The starting rotation, minus 2 guys, is TBA. Are we in a good spot here or a bad spot?
I think it's not a time to hit the panic button just yet. I actually went on Saturday for the Saturday Star Wars night game against the Brewers, and Zach Eflin looks sharp. He looked pretty good. I think he went about 6 or 7 innings that game and struck out 8. Only gave up 3 runs, which is good too. And then what was fun, everybody around me, I was like, okay, now the bullpen's going to come in and give up about 3 or 4 runs to make this an even closer game. So, but that wasn't the case. The Rays pulled out the win 8-4. But yeah, we've been discussing this on my show that May is like the gauntlet month because of the way the schedule's been panning out, and now we've had so many injuries to the starting pitching rotation. The bullpens look so questionable and shaky. It's like this is if this team is going to be going all the way, it's May is surely the test of how this team is going to be resilient. It's funny because I was talking to one of my buddies that was at the game with me. It's like, usually we don't talk about the offense when it comes to the Rays. And now the Rays offense is usually saving the pitching staff now, when it usually is vice versa. The pitching can come in and save the offense when the offense is only, scoring maybe 2 or 3 runs per game. Now the offense is putting up so many runs. It's like, okay, well, we can expect the bullpen just to give up a few, but now it's starting to be like, okay, who can we bring in that's not going to be such a shaky guy in the middle innings? And even Jason Adams is having trouble closing out games too as well. It's now that we got Toronto coming in, and yeah, you mentioned before, Baltimore's only 2.5 games behind now, which is crazy to think how the Rays started off so hot, had a huge lead against everybody else in the AL East, which the AL East is like the best division in baseball. Let's just hands down say that. Yeah. So, but yeah, the Orioles are 2.5 games behind. So this week is going to be critical for them to maybe have a little leeway, because you got Orioles, the Blue Jays for 4. Then you got the Dodgers coming into town this weekend too as well. So this is a tough stretch coming up at home. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see the Dodgers come in. I can't remember last time they were here.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while. I'm actually going on Friday. I think you mentioned on your show, Glass now is penciled to start on Friday, so it'll be good to see him on the mound. I'm just so nervous about him coming in because hopefully, you can maybe put the emphasis on Glass now because he gets hurt so much. So we'll see. I mean, the Rays are going to do it right. They're going to ease him in there 4 innings, hopefully max, and then just limit him to the pitch count, and then just keep building him up until he can get those 6, 7, maybe 8 innings. So we'll see.
Well, will Eric Meander package up a couple of players and maybe try to go out and find just like I mentioned earlier to Dan Lucas, just a decent starter. It doesn't have to be some top-notch guy, just somebody that can give them some dependable innings, maybe a veteran here or there, kind of a Corey Kluber type, although Kluber's been a little rough. That type guy who can just eat up innings, every 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, I think going into the trade deadline, and I always joke about this on my show, is, hey, look, Madison Bumgarner is not doing anything right now. You can get him for the league minimum cheap. You can bring him in, and Kyle Snyder can nurture him and build him up, put him in the bullpen to be a back end relief guy, and then maybe put him into the starting 5 if you could.
Bomb. Wow.
Look, he was terrible in Arizona. He's only 33 years old, so there's hopefully still some mileage maybe in the tank.
If there's anybody that can fix him, it's the Rays.
Exactly. So why not maybe take a shot at him? But of course, we need somebody to fill in and eat those innings, because the bullpen is just such. You have to hold your breath now when guys like Kevin Kelly come up and Poche, even though Poche has been looking all right, but it's just you have to hold your breath, because now 8 runs could mean really nothing, especially going against teams like the Blue Jays come in, and the Dodgers too as well. So
no, it's a great point. These teams can rake,
and
so can the Rays, and that's the good news, partner. Is Josh Lowe now another 4 RBIs yesterday. His OPS is what 1.012. I mean it's a kind of a part-time player. He's got 11 home runs and 10 steals. I don't know how many guys in Major League Baseball have that, if any. This kid is I didn't expect this from him. I knew he had big upside, but I didn't expect it to be this good. What are your thoughts?
It's crazy to think what a year makes too, and looking at him and also Taylor Walls too as well. And when those guys came up last year to play a little bit from the minors, it's we saw flashes here and there, but nothing as we've seen so far now during this season. Like, these guys are totally different hitters. I mean, they're just raking in the ball and just contributing to the offense too, where you can have look at what been happening to Brandon Lau and even Wander Franco. These guys have had the streaks of where they haven't been doing too well, but the other guys in the lineup have been picking up the pace. Guys you wouldn't expect them to, especially like the Taylor Walls or the Josh Lowe's of the world. So it's good that the offense is really almost complete to where if 1 or 2 guys are maybe on a cold streak right now, the other guys are going to pick up the slack. So it's been great to see Josh Lowe just crush the ball, and I saw Taylor Walls come in and crush the ball on Saturday night too. It's fun. I've been saying this too as well, JP. It's a different team. And I think it's different all the way around too. And I know the whole stadium thing is now popped up again where, somebody might be buying the team.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Good. But like, it's a different aura with this team compared to last year. Like, the marketing's been better. The people are showing up to the games. Like, it's a different electric feel every time you go to Tropicana Field, which you haven't seen in a very, very long time. So conspiracy theories aside, maybe it's a cog in the wheel that could be happening with the buyers and the sellers here and there. So I don't know, but it's been fun to watch this team, and it's been fun to go to the games because Saturday afternoon game, it was the Brewers, but the stadium was packed to the brim. It was great to see.
Well, you know me. I don't miss a good conspiracy theory.
I know.
And, I've had my tentacles in this thing for a long time. And I do think it's a little curious. As we get close to the time where Major League Baseball has said, without exception to Stu, get the deal done in Tampa. We don't want to send revenue share checks for you. The revenue's in Tampa. We all know that.
Right.
So there was a meeting with the Rays and Hillsborough County on Thursday. Ken Hagan came on here and said, we need another partner to step forward to get this deal done and get the development done and the whole deal done in Tampa. Here we go Sunday, and we have a local owner stepping up who's been involved with the team.
It's about time, too, that we've had somebody locally step up and go, hey, I want to see the future of this team stay in Tampa, not be relocated to somewhere else, and have the team stick here. We want to have a stadium built to where fans are going to show up, and fans are going to be showing up for the next 20, 50 years. So I'm finally a local presence who has lots of money, has lots of pull around this area, is stepped up and said, hey, this is the team for our area. I'm going to maybe come in and throw my hat in the ring to maybe buy or maybe buy a share of the team. So I'm happy for this, if this is true, because we've also hearing reports, hey, Stu might not be selling, but he's taking phone calls right now. If this report has come out, he's taking calls. He's going to be listening to some chatter. So yeah, I'm happy about this. If this comes to fruition, we don't know. This is all just chatter right now. Obviously, the Athletic, likes to put out things here and there. So how
well, and MLB, you mentioned all the marketing, right?
Yeah.
How come that hasn't been done for the longest time?
I know, and now it's when the report came out on Sunday, it's like, okay, this kind of makes sense right now because the concert series stuff hasn't been happening for, almost 10 years when they used to do that. They've been marketing all around St. Pete. There's banners all over the place now, even in Tampa, like over the bridge, there's huge marketing campaigns. And now it's like,
So if MLB, let's just say, they got tired of Stu not marketing the team and the other owners having to give them revenue sharing checks all the time. Maybe MLB came in and finally MLB realized when they shut down his sister city idea that he's just been yanking everybody's chain in Tampa and in St. Pete. And maybe they need to get in there and kind of find out what's really going on and market the team. So somebody else is running the team in terms of the marketing. That looks like it's going on. And they see, oh, wow, they could have been doing this all along. Yeah. Oh, okay. And now, maybe we'll just get a local owner in there for you, Stu. You can cash out, take your $1 billion profit, and we'll just take the team to Tampa and get a new local owner there and run it like it should have been run from the beginning. Maybe that's probably what's happening. What do you think?
It's a good maybe conspiracy theory to go down the rabbit hole down because look, you have Randy Land now, like that's marketing to 100% T of how to market your team correctly, and they saw
signing players to long-term contracts.
Yeah, it's like and really now
this is different.
And plus, maybe Stu came in and pulled like a major league and said, "You guys stink to everybody," into the locker room, and the guys were probably like, "You know what? F this guy. We're gonna play higher than we've ever played before, and we're gonna make this team like the best there is and the best in baseball." Because the way they came out in April, just firing on all cylinders to be the best team in baseball, and still are the best team in baseball right now. It's like I said before, this is a totally different team than what we saw last year. And maybe they took cues. The marketing department watched the WBC and said, "Hey, we're gonna make baseball fun again, and we're gonna make it at the Trop. Why not?" And it's been working so far because the new generation of fans are showing up with their families and everything like that else too. So it's nice to see that, but it's nice to also see that a local presence is now putting his voice out there going, I may want to buy the Rays and buy it from Stu. And Stu can go live up in New York and be cushy and watch the Mets stink and do all that stuff too as well.
Take your $1 billion profit and go.
Yeah.
Although, he's already got the rights. He's got the redevelopment rights to Tropicana Field, that area. And I still think he'll he'll end up building in Tampa, or Major League Baseball will under new ownership, and he'll make his $1 billion, and that's fine. I think I think Rays fans would be over the moon about that. Even though, Stu, I give him all the credit in the world to be able to, put together an organization that wins on this budget is one of the greatest stories in sports, and he's done a tremendous job in that realm. It could be so much better if he take part of that $500 million that he has allegedly in this other company and put that towards payroll, and we could get it. He's always said he'd reinvest the money that they made. Well, that's patently untrue. He hasn't done that. It's always, the payroll has always been low, and they could be up at the average if they wanted to. They just choose not to. So if they did, imagine how much better this team could be.
Imagine the star power that you can bring into like the free, like, hey, we could have maybe roped in Freddie Freeman if we just maybe have bumped up $5 million more or something like that. So yeah, it's definitely like, it's funny how these stories pop up in like the weird times of the season too, because we're in the middle of May right now. We're going into the summer months. We've had like the stadium talk at the end of the year after the end of the season too. So it's weird when these stories pop up, and we're also like, okay, how legitimate is this story too as well? Because when this thing came up on Sunday, I was like, interesting. This is very like interesting, and a very interesting time of the year too, because the Rays are popping off. Like the TV ratings are through the charts right now. I'm sure Bally's is like, thank God for the Rays, because hey, we're probably going bankrupt, but now people are chiming in to watch the Rays locally for them in the Tampa Bay market. So yeah, it's just whatever it is, and I've been saying this for many years now, just get it done. May it be sell the team to somebody that's going to bring them over to Tampa, or keep them in St. Pete, whatever it is, just get it done so we can stop talking about it every single year.
But I remind folks that, don't capitulate to St. Pete, because that's not good for the Rays long term. It's not good for the fans. It's not good for the Rays. And again, if you're just listening to this show for the first time, I am not anti-St. Pete. I love St. Pete, and it doesn't need a baseball stadium. It needs more area for building more apartments, affordable housing, all those things which they could do, and a convention center for downtown St. Petersburg. They would absolutely kill it. They would put even more heads in beds. And spending $1 billion of public money, even if it's half of that, $600 million, $700 million for a stadium that will be poorly located. It's not. It's the location. You can't change it. It's surrounded by water and surrounded by people that don't go to Rays games. So it is what it is. To spend $700 million of public tax dollars to build another one in the same location, that's just dumb.
Yeah, dumb decision making on that. And I agree with you too. The team needs to be in Tampa, where you have now the trifecta of the Lightning and the Bucks, and then you have the Rays over in a good spot too. And there's plenty of spots that are over in the Tampa Bay side where you can put a stadium that's going to bring in, fans, especially if you have that I-4 and I-75 corridor where you can get people from the Orlando area, which that's a different story with Pat Williams trying to do his Orlando Dreamers thing again.
Dreamers is the key word there.
Hey, exactly. Dreamers is the top story.
They don't have the public money, and they don't have an owner who's going to put up the $2.5 billion or $2 billion expansion fee. Besides that, they're good to go.
Yep.
Besides the $3.7 billion they're out, they don't have. They're good to go. They're good to go.
I know. Hopefully, JP, we see a resolution to this, because I think the beginning of the season, Stu said a decision has to be made by the end of the year, or there's no deal at all. So, maybe this news about Dan Doyle coming in and going, hey, I maybe want to buy the team. Maybe this is going to maybe gain strength and build up even more momentum about, hey, either a sale or he's going to be part of the relocation of the new stadium to get it done before the end of the year. So this is good news. So everybody that thinks, hey, this guy can maybe come in and maybe F up the team. No, this is good news for the area, because you don't want an outside party to come in and say, hey, we're going to come in and we're going to relocate the team to either Nashville or Charlotte. And
that's not happening.
Yeah. So you want to,
I don't know how many times MLB has to say this, but they're not leaving the market.
Right.
And I know they lie too, but it doesn't make sense for them to take the Rays, an existing team, and move it to Nashville and get a $1 billion relocation fee, as opposed to getting a $2.5 billion expansion fee. That would be like the owners voting to give themselves less money. Why would they do that? They wouldn't do that. They're not going anywhere. They want those expansion markets to pay top dollar, put the Rays in Tampa where they can maximize their revenue and they don't have to send Stu revenue sharing checks anymore. And baseball stays in the 11th largest market with the 17th largest market an hour away in Orlando. They're not going in. I don't care how many times John Romano writes it in the Times that somebody's going to come in here and buy the team and move them. They're not going to do that. It's not going to happen. So, and they can keep writing that, and everybody keeps, they're going to move. They're not moving the team. It's just it
also too also too MLB is waiting on whatever the Rays decide to do with the stadium to make that finalized. That way, if they're going to do expansion, they're waiting on. I mean, obviously Oakland's headed towards Las Vegas.
Right
now, they're waiting on the Rays to do whatever they need to do for their stadium to move it to Tampa or keep it in St. Pete. MLB's just waiting on that to go. Okay, they're done. Their stadiums are good to go wherever they need to be, and then now we can expand to two more possible markets. That's what MLB's waiting on. So
now they say Salt Lake, Portland, Charlotte, Nashville, Austin, San Antonio. Whoever wants a baseball team, start bidding, and let's see where that expansion fee goes to. It's going to be over $2 billion, and that money just goes to the other owners. So then they get 2 new expansion deals, and they get a new stadium in Tampa where the revenues are going to be higher. It's exactly what the owners want. And by the way, the owners have to approve a move, in case you didn't know that. So they would have to, 2/3 of the owners would have to allow Stu, who they don't like through the whole sister city thing, to make them less money and move to another state. It's not happening.
You know what? I'm excited for JP because this really starts the motion of really getting a deal done for a stadium, and then just kind of putting the team where it's supposed to be in the Tampa Bay area, and then we'll be able to enjoy this team from years to come. This is an exciting year because of just so many awesome things that are happening to the team, and the team's playing well, even though with the issues that they have with the bullpen and everywhere else. But it's an exciting time to be a Rays fan. It's great.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, the Randy Arozarena, Yandy Diaz, Josh Lowe, Itzhak Paredes. I mean, these guys are mashing. And I won't, you can fill me in, but how did Eric Neander know that if he made no moves whatsoever, his offense would go from one of the worst in the league to one of the best in the league?
Right. And the funny thing is, like, everybody in the offseason going, okay, what are they going to do? And then the only thing they did was sign Zach Eflin to his contract. And we're like, really, a pitcher? We don't need another pitcher. We need offense. And lo and behold, this team is first in pretty much all categories of offense when it comes to home runs, OPS, runs scored. It's crazy. You know what? That's why we do sports podcasting, sports radio, and Eric Neander, the guys up in the upper management, know what they're doing, because I know a lot of people that were talking to my show. It's like, okay, well, in the offseason, they didn't do much. They didn't do much offensively. They just kept everybody the same, maybe hoping on the guys in the minors to come up and mash. And, only signing a pitcher was kind of a head scratcher, but I guess a must need it now because of the way, the starting rotation's been injured and everything. But, they must know something that we don't. And whatever they did in the offseason with the hitting coaches, it's just been a total 180 because this offense is so exciting to watch each and every game.
It's cool stuff, man, and it's fun, and it's hopefully we'll have been enjoying Rays baseballs for generations to come in a new stadium in Tampa. Yep. All right, my friend, plug all your content and what you're doing these days.
Yeah, man, you can find me on the Twitter space at the El Bushman, and then of course head to Believe Podcast Network. And man, you can find me on the Twitter subscribe space to Rays Rewind Podcast on Spotify, and also the Believe Podcast Network. And
yeah, we got a little feedback there. All right, thanks, partner. Appreciate it. We'll catch up with you next time. All right, we will take a quick break here if I can get everything working the way it's supposed to work. We have to switch back and forth today because Nick's not here. I just blame Nick. Oh, and by the way, Nick is not feeling well. He had the stomach flu over the weekend, and since he put it on Twitter, I guess we're allowed to talk about it. Because my man, let's just say he puked a few times. He did. And Casey had to clean it up. So which made me ask, like, why is she having to you can't get to the restroom in time? He's like, it was that bad. I'm like, oh, it was that bad. So why is she having to you can't wish him the best. And he will be back. It was that bad soon. All right. We will take a quick break here. We'll come back on the other side. John Gerber's going to join us, PGA professional, and we're going to talk a little bit about the PGA Championship, the story that was
Michael Block, and, of course, Brooks Koepka as well. Quick break. Back in 3. Stay with us. Been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by, never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, check out the Jeeves Law Group. Go to jeeveslawgroup.com, tell them JP sent you, get a free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves has been representing clients in the Tampa Bay area for over 25 years. Give them a call. It's a free call, 727-894-2929, 727-894-2929, or go to jeeveslawgroup.com. Ladies and gentlemen, are you looking to lose weight or just lean up for bathing suit season where there are so many diets and chiropractors and weight loss out there? You don't know where to start, right? We'll start at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo, PA, and his professional staff will devise a personal plan for you that gets results and will help you keep the weight off. Everybody metabolizes food and supplements differently. Many of these other approaches are designed for the masses. So how's that going to work for you specifically? It's not. Chris will spend one-on-one time with you to find out what works best for you so the weight comes off safely without the use of harmful drugs and side effects. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents and not some voice-generated robot. These are confusing times for homeowners, and Italiano's team of experienced professionals can provide the right coverage for every situation: home, auto, business, life. It's Italiano for all the pieces of your life. Call 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. So we're going to welcome in our good friend John Gerber, PGA Pro. We'll switch over to the guest line here. Stand by. It's our workaround today, Johnny.
Now you can hear me. Can you hear me? We can hear you. What's up, Johnny? You got me? Hello, John Gerber. Are you there? Hold on. Stand by. Sorry, folks. Having some technical difficulties here today. I believe we are set to go. Can you hear me, John? You cannot hear me. You got the mute on? Nope. Can't hear. You can't hear me? All right, we'll try this a different way. Stand by, folks. We'll try to get him on another way. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We'll try one more time.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Nope, you can't hear me. John, can you hear me? You got me? You do not have me. You cannot hear me. You cannot hear me. You want to check unmute yours? Is your setting correct? Unmute your setting. Nope, you can't hear me. All right, we'll take another break and we'll see if we can get Johnny on here today. Sorry for the technical difficulties, folks. Is what it is. We'll try a quick break and see if we can get him on after this. Are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by. Never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law
lose their health plan. If you have been notified you are losing your coverage, don't freak out. It's very likely you can apply for a federal subsidy under the Affordable Care Act. Just call 877-652-0244. Our representatives will walk you through the whole process, get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. You can select great plans like Florida Blue. That's my carrier. Love them. Paying $800 left after making a call. 877-652-0244. Our highly trained professionals know all the intricacies of the new laws. They will do all the work. You save tons of money. So if you're being dropped from Medicaid, fear not. Call 877-652-0244. Get real health insurance, free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to this crazy show we got going here today. Let's talk to John Gerber, PGA Tour Pro. What's up, Johnny? How are you, partner?
Hey, buddy, what's going on? A little crazy day, like we had a crazy weekend at the PGA, right? So it all fits and matches up.
You never know what's going to happen, right? You just never know what's going to happen. Like on Wednesday or on Friday, I took the day off and went and played Golden Ocala. You love that course.
That's a good track. That's a great golf course.
Yeah, and it ate my lunch because I didn't have my own clubs. But anyway, don't make excuses.
Oh, yeah.
But on 18.
What'd you shoot? 78 or 79? You said it ate your lunch. That's about right.
Probably
That's
90,
about right.
92, I think I shot. But on 18, I was like, I'm going to get a birdie. I'm going to birdie this hole. And I was in the front bunker, big lip in front of me. Couldn't even see the bottom of the hole. And I slam dunked it. First time I've ever slam dunked a stamp shot in my life. So, and that was a precursor to what Michael Block did on Sunday. I knew it was coming. Slam dunk.
That bunker lesson I gave you last time I was in town certainly helped. It sounds like.
Well, that's it. So you're a PGA pro, and that's why I want to get you on today. I'm sure you've tried to qualify for the PGA Championship, right? Have you gone through that situation?
Yeah. I've tried to qualify a few times, and it's a tough task, with so many 28,000, fellow PGA professionals that try to qualify for the event. They only take about three people from each section, and then that's the local stage, and then you go to the national, and then out of the 400 people playing in that, they take the 20.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like tour school in a sense that, you could play well and not get in, and sometimes you could play well, not play well and get in. So it's a little bit of luck of the draw, but any of those guys that play in the PGA, those 20, they're certainly good players.
They're good players, but it just shows how hard it is out there to be on the PGA Tour, right? Dustin Johnson shot 10 over par for this weekend. That golf course was a freaking monster with that rough, was it not?
Yeah, and that's what we talked about. We previewed the show on From the Rough podcast, and we said we were hoping that the golf course itself would be the star as opposed to the potential weather, and you can see it certainly was. That's the first time the PGA, they set it up more like a U.S. Open than they did a PGA, which I thought that was fantastic. And you could see, if you usually watch the PGA, 15, 16, 17 under par usually wins.
Right.
So you put it in a setup like that at Oak Hill. I really like seeing that, and the guy who drove the ball the best certainly won the tournament in Brooks Koepka.
All right, before we get to Brooks, let's talk a little bit more about Michael Block. As a fellow PGA pro, what do you know about him at all, or what he goes through in terms? I mean, we saw this great, the great shots of the folks watching back at his club in California. Where is it, Mission Viejo or somewhere down there? I mean, it's a municipal course. People come in there, and it's as grassroots and as blue collar as golf gets. And to have this guy with a couple of, he's got a couple of teenage sons who have been urging him on to not give up on his dream. This is like what you make a movie out of. And we know Kevin Costner is going to play him because he looks like Kevin Costner. What are your thoughts?
That's a great point when you say that. Michael, I've known Michael for a long time, and he's been a good player for a long time. There's just certain guys that no matter what they do, they can still play golf, and being in the business and, working those 40, 50, 60-hour weeks, they still take a little time to play. This was Michael's 5th PGA Championship, but he's also played in 2 U.S. Opens. So, he's not, he plays a lot of golf with those tour guys that live in the Southern California area, and he also plays in 2 or 3 PGA Tour events, on top of that. So the guy's a seasoned player, and he's a great representation of us 20,000 PGA members, and we're all proud of him. And there's a lot of guys like that are in the PGA that can really play. Bob Sowers comes to mind. He's getting a little bit older now, so there's 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of those players that every year that have a potential to make that cut in the PGA. And that just goes to show how good players are, even though that we are still working in the business that many hours.
Yeah, John Gerber joining us here, PGA Pro and host of From the Rough podcast, one of our podcasts that you can find on the FanStream Sports Networks. And you say Michael. Tell me more about just him as a dude. I mean, he seems like such a regular guy, that you'd love to just sit down, play golf, and have a few beers with.
Yeah, you spot on. I played in the tournament actually with him last fall in Mexico, and you said it right. I mean, he's just a normal guy. He's happy-go-lucky. What everyone saw on TV wasn't fake, right? So he's just that type of person. He likes to go play golf. He likes his family. He likes his friends, and he likes his beer. So if you like those 3 things, you're okay in my book, bud. So. There was nothing fake about him on TV when he did all the interviews, and that's really good to see. And he's a real genuine guy.
He definitely wouldn't join the Live Tour, though. He's not one of those guys.
Well, you don't know. I mean, you never know. You get that much money thrown at you. I mean, look at what's happening right now. Right. He's playing next week at Colonial.
Yeah.
He got invited in 3 weeks to play in Canada. So some of these things, just because the type of person that he is, he's going to have some more playing opportunities. Now, he's only allowed to have 5. So, he's going to maybe choose his spots a little bit, and he's also got an opportunity to qualify again in the U.S. Open in a couple weeks. He got through local qualifying. So he's got that long day of 36 holes up ahead of him. So he's going to get a few more playing opportunities, and it really wouldn't surprise me if he continues to play well.
John Gerber joining us here, PGA Pro and host of From the Rough podcast. How'd your predictions go this weekend? Do you have any winners?
We didn't have any winners in terms of our outright winners. We had opportunity. Maybe Shane Lowry was our long shot ham sandwich pick at 66-1. We took Xander Schauffele. Didn't have a great week, but we did cash in on a top 10 pick with Corey Connors,
nice.
Or a top 20 pick with Corey Connors. He faltered there a little bit at the end, but we went 2-1 on our matchup. 2-0 on our matchups.
There you go.
So we were a little bit profitable in terms of the week. Our matchup record is a lot better than our overall winning record. We don't have a winner yet this year. We are plus $840 or units profit for the year, which isn't a lot compared to last couple years, but we are 48, 16, and 4 on our matchups for the year.
Damn.
So whoever's following and really wants to jump on that matchup board, and we'll do it on Saturdays and Sundays. We're doing real well on those matchups.
And how do they follow you on Twitter to get those picks?
Yeah, you can follow us. You can follow us on Mondays and Wednesdays. Watch the show on From the Rough podcast on FanStream Sports Network, and you can follow me personally at J Gerber PGA Pro on Twitter.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Brooks Koepka. I've been kind of vocal, even though he's an FSU guy, and I've always been a big Brooks fan. But then the last few years, the Live thing, the Full Swing Netflix series, I don't think showed him in the greatest light. So I have a hard time rooting for Brooks Koepka right now, and I was kind of rooting against him. But he seems to be healthy again, and when he's healthy, he's as good as there is in the game. No question about it. Going 9 under on that course is ridiculous.
That's amazing. You and I talked about Brooks before. I feel the same way. I've had some interaction with Brooks, and knowing him from being in the South Florida section for a while. And he's a tough guy to get to know sometimes. Just even growing up, him and his brother as a kid. But if you look at his success, I firmly believe if he wasn't hurt, and you saw that in some of that Full Swing. If he didn't get hurt, I don't think he would have went to Live. That's just my personal opinion.
I agree with you.
Because he wasn't really sure how much longer he was going to play golf. So, to be able to have that opportunity to make that much money and not really having some uncertainty in your career, maybe it was the best move. But, I believe one of the reasons why he won this week was his falter that he had at the Masters, shooting 75 in that last round, having a chance to win. First time he's played a 72-hole event in, over a year, and then, putting that pressure in a major championship. And I think that lack of success shooting 75 in the Masters really helped him kind of close the deal at the PGA. And you look, he shot 3 under in the last round, and I didn't think anyone close would get to 10 under par. And he had it double digits there for a while.
Yeah, and the way he finished there, Hovland had that shot on 16. That was – take us through that a little bit there. That was unfortunate. There was only, a one-shot difference at that point, right?
Yeah, there was a one-shot difference. In all honesty, that was just a really bad shot that he hit out of that bunker. You could tell he had a 9-iron, and he hit it a little bit thin, and it kind of hit up in the lip of the bunker. He actually got lucky that it did get on the top side of the grass side of the bunker, and that happened to Corey Connors. If you look at it, that's what happened to Corey Connors on Saturday. It's almost same exact thing, and that's a tough shot. They were lucky that it didn't stay in the bunker, because if it's plugged in the bunker, you don't get free relief.
Oh, I see. That's what I was. I didn't understand why he got the free relief.
Yeah, because he was outside of the bunker area, the hazard area, in the grass. So anytime you have a plug lie in the grass area, a plug lie, you get free relief. But if he's in the bunker and it's plugged, that's not free relief, because it's considered a hazard. So he got a little lucky there. But to be honest with you, he just hit a bad golf shot. And, that result really, really kind of hurt him there. And he couldn't catch up. And that's what I was telling people. If Brooks shoots anywhere in the 60s, he's going to win the golf tournament, because they're not going to there's not a 65, 64 on that golf course on Sunday.
Yeah, no way. Anybody else surprise you this week with their play?
I thought DJ would play a little bit better. It surprised me a little bit. As good as a driver of the golf ball that he is, and that's where I kind of landed a lot of my picks was, that's the hardest driving golf course that they've had and probably will have all year, especially with that rough. And those guys who drive the ball long and straight, I thought would really have a lot of success, and that's what Brooks did. But I thought DJ would play a little bit better. He played terrible on the weekend. I thought Rory would play a little bit better, as good as he drives the golf ball. If Roy's driving the golf ball, he's unbeatable if he's driving the golf ball well. He's the best driver in the world when he drives it well. So those two guys really disappointed me a little bit. I thought they'd have a better performance.
All right, so where we go from here? Colonial, and Michael Block gets a sponsor's exemption to Colonial, so he'll show up there and he'll be the star of the show this week, right?
Yeah, I mean, and you look at Colonial, he's going down there, and it's not an elevated field. So you have Colonial and you have Memorial. I'm actually in Ohio right now. I'm going to be covering the Memorial next week for From the Rough podcast and FanStream Sports. So I'll be out there all next week for the Memorial. And but this week, Colonial, it's not an elevated field event, so the field is not going to be as good as it normally is for Colonial, because the following week at Memorial is an elevated field event. So you're going to have a few guys. I'm curious to see if Jordan Spieth's going to play, just because of his wrist injury, and I know he's going to play Memorial, so I want to get a little bit more insight on that. But listen, don't be surprised if Michael Block, I certainly believe he's going to make the cut, but don't be surprised if he has an opportunity to be in that top 20 again.
Really? Wow. That's what did he win? Like $300,000 this week?
300,000. Yeah, around 300,000. But the perks are a little bit probably more than the money. He's going to get in the PGA next year also. And then obviously you're seeing some of the trickle down effect of some of the sponsors exemptions and stuff like that. So yeah, 300,000. That's a hell of a lot of golf lessons you got to give for $300,000, my man. So I think he's pretty happy with that paycheck that's coming in.
Did you beat him that day you played together?
No, I didn't beat him. No, I didn't beat him. I didn't play bad. He didn't play bad, but he clipped me by a couple shots. I think I shot 68. I think he shot 65. Wow. So I wasn't disappointed with my performance, but he certainly got me by a few.
So what you're telling me is next year you're going to be top 15 at the PGA. That's what you're telling me.
I shot 68. He shot 65. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch him in that next year either, because he's going to continue to get better, and I'm not sure I'm going to.
Well, listen, you'll be a hell of a story if it happens to you, my friend. So we appreciate your perspective. Once again, don't forget, tell them all when they find your From the Rough podcast. You can go on FanStream Sports. Obviously, download the app, FanStream Sports, and on FanStreamSports.com. What time do you guys do that one?
Yeah, so we're on tonight. We're on tonight from 5 to 7 Eastern time, and we're on Wednesday 5 to 7 Eastern. You can follow all that stuff there live on From the Rough podcast on FanStream Sports channel. Again, you can follow me on Jay Gerber PGA Pro. We'll be posting all the picks. You can also find us on our YouTube channel at FanStream Sports and From the Rough podcast.
All right, brother. Great stuff as always, and we'll chat with you down the line. Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate you having me on, buddy. Have a good week.
I want to get John on because obviously he's played with Michael Block before. That's just got to be the coolest story ever. I mean, just absolutely fantastic. And when they do make the movie, and I don't know, Kevin Costner might be too old to do it now, but it's basically Tin Cup. It's pretty much the same movie, but this one could be better with the whole family element. That. Absolutely great story. All right, we will take a quick break. When we come back, I want to get to you guys. Great comments today, so we'll get to your comments. And then Chris Lugo is going to join us. We're going to talk a little bit about a major change that you should be making in your medical care. So quick break. Back with that in a second. Stay with us. Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents and not some voice-generated robot. These are confusing times for homeowners, and Italiano's team of experienced professionals can provide the right coverage for every situation: home, auto, business, life. It's Italiano for all the pieces of your life. Call 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here. As we roll on, having a few technical issues today, but we'll try it again. As we will welcome in our good friend Chris Lugo from Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Hopefully, I can hear you and see you. Let's give it a shot, Chris. What do you got? Are you there?
I see you. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you too. Oh my God, this is incredible. All right, well, I got to make one more little quick deal here and echo, and I think we're actually going to be good here. So,
Sure.
Yes. Hold on, I got to stop this nonsense over here. Whew. All right, how you doing, partner? Good to see you. I got anxiety. I'm anxiety ridden here. Please tell me what I should do when I get off this. Go do a workout, get some push-ups in, get rid of all this anxiety, right? Instead of taking a pill, right? Go to the gym and get it all worked out, right?
Box breathing. We do box breathing all the time in the military. It works pretty well. Yeah, but go work out.
What's box breathing?
4 second in, 4 second hold, 4 second out, 4 second hold.
Okay.
So when you get antsed up, like we did this past weekend, we had some guys coming through. They get anxious because they think we're going to destroy them. We get a box breathing just to kind of decompress. That's all.
Interesting techniques. We learned there. Yeah, it was funny. Forget which pitcher it was. I think it was Pete Fairbanks for the Rays. He gave up the game-winning homer to Alonso, and I guess he has this routine that he does when he does stuff like that. He goes into the batting cage, puts the ball on the tee, and just starts swinging as hard as he can in lieu of punching a wall with your pitching hand and taking yourself out of the season.
Right.
I was like, that's a pretty good idea. I think that's not a bad idea.
And takes your mind off of it too.
Yeah,
which is good also.
Yeah. All right, so we want to get into a topic today that I think is very interesting because the medical landscape has changed so dramatically over the last 10 to 15 years, and certainly since COVID as well. And it's always been this, I guess, the template has been you go to your job, you get insurance, you go to the doctor, it doesn't cost anything, you get a copay, blah, 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 blah. But now it's kind of gone screw it, because now the insurance companies are basically running healthcare, right? And the way you guys do it is different, and tell folks why.
You've been in Tampa for a very long time. I've been born and raised in Tampa. I was actually an orderly at St. Joseph's back in the 90s, back in the day.
Wow.
When St. Joe's was St. Joe's. It's no longer St. Joe's. It's now Baycare. Baycare's buying up practices left and right. They're buying up practices of physicians I never thought would sell out. You got Tampa General now buying up practices. You've got Advent Health. You've got Florida Medical Clinic. You're a number now. You're no longer a patient. Now you're part of this big hospital system. There's this little country over on the West Coast called California. Kaiser Permanente has been doing it for decades.
Yeah.
They're now doing it over here because they know there's big money in it. So I sell out to Baycare. I'm an employee now. They're going to make me work and see so many patients a day in order to get that money out of me. Got to bill in order to get that money out of me. BAM is different, like several other practices around here. Now we are fee for service. We're direct patient care. And what that means is, hey, look, you've got that one-on-one with me. I'm not sitting a type of a computer looking at you like this and talking. I'm looking at you directly. I'm looking at you in the eye. I'm letting you talk and get that out so I don't cut you off. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. Yes, you're paying me after the visit versus you're paying a copay. You're waiting an hour to 2 hours in a cold room for maybe 10 minutes with that provider, if that. And then you're going to get a bill in the mail for another $120 in 3 to 4 weeks. And you had to take the day off from work. To me, direct patient care is more economical.
Yeah.
You're not using your insurance, which is huge. But if you're pretty healthy and you're not seeing a pulmonologist and a cardiologist and endocrinologist on a regular basis, direct care is a much better thing. You're going to get more that one-on-one, that more old school medicine like it was back in the day for your dad, my dad, when they were growing up. When you walked down the street, saw Doc Smith, right? And you walked into his house. Mm-hmm. That's how it used to be. That's so to say that this is concierge medicine. Yeah, technically it is, but that's how old school medicine was back in the day.
Right. And is it fair to say that when in these other situations where they have to see so many patients that they're probably looking for a quick fix as way, just write a script to get them out of there, get somebody else in. And they're not really attacking the root causes. They're just attacking the temporary symptoms, which is not going to heal you. Right.
Correct. That's that stereotypical Western medicine. You come with this, I give you that. Have a nice day. Here's your prescriptions. Have a nice day. I want to prevent that stuff from happening. Hey, we got this issue going on. Let's take care of it, but then let's prevent it from happening.
Right.
Okay. So that Western medicine is take that prescription, and next thing you know, now you got a pill bottle this big. You went from one row, now you got multiple rows because you got so many darn pills. We can prevent that from happening just by talking about the foundation for health, like we've talked about multiple times before. But it's putting that effort in.
Yeah. Do you have an example of a situation where that's, benefited the patient? I'm sure you have many of them in terms of another doctor might just say, well, here's a pill, take the symptoms. And there was a root cause that you went after and fixed so they didn't happen again.
Diet is going to be huge right now. Yeah. Like I have a diabetic right now who I ended up getting from COVID a few years ago because she didn't want all that other stuff that we've talked about in the past.
Right.
And she's a diabetic and she hasn't been told by her previous PCP that she's got to stop eating fruit. And I'm like, this is what's driving up your A1C. I'm never going to tell you can't enjoy a piece of fruit, but I'm going to let you know that, hey, you're eating literally 8 to 10 servings a day, bowls of fruit, which is driving up your sugar. Now, she wasn't kind of happy with me when I told her that, but in the same sense, it kind of like the light bulb went off. Like, why didn't anybody ever tell me that I can't eat fruit or limit my fruit as much as possible so I don't have to take metformin or go on insulin or get peripheral neuropathy so we can prevent those things from happening. So it's educating the patients, which today we've gotten out of that motif of educating our patients.
Yeah. So much of it is just big pharma, write another script. And yeah. And I didn't realize that the hospital companies were buying up all these individual practices. That doesn't seem like it's a positive. If that's happened to somebody, like if Dr. Smith has suddenly become Baycare Dr. Smith, this would be a good reason to call you, I would imagine.
So if you remember back in the day, we had Humana Women's Hospital back in the 80s, right? That was across the street from Baycare. And then St. Joe's ended up buying them out. But you have an insurance company now that's dictating your care. Do you think they really got your best interest at hand?
Yeah.
No, they don't. They're about serving their stockholders. They want to make money. They want to make profit. That's why these guys have huge salaries, because they're all about making money. So let's not have them make so much money and take care of yourself, actually.
Yeah, it's a much better idea. And it's funny, I was playing golf the other day with a gentleman who works, who used to work for Stryker, which is a medical device. Do a lot of implants, surgical implants, knees, hips, all those replacement surgeries. He now works for a company that's doing basically stem cell tissue, and they're growing tissue, and they're wrapping the tendons and stuff in this tissue because they can't do injectables right yet with FDA. So, and I'm saying, well, why did you leave a company like Stryker that's so good? And because he says, because this is the future of medicine. So things are changing, but it seems like American medicine, the FDA really doesn't want that as much as it would benefit the patients. Fair to say?
You just mentioned it's big pharma. Big pharma owns this country. And if no one realizes that, then you need to go to the countries and see how other countries are run, because big pharma does not run them. Only here.
Yeah. There's so much more access to good, fresh food, which makes people a lot more healthy. As Nick said before, he ate a lot of bad food this week. Yeah. He has stomach issues. He's not here today, and I'm going crazy with all this stuff. So we'll hopefully get him better, or he may have to come see you tomorrow. Anyway.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
How can folks get in touch with you and get on the right path to healthfulness?
In this digital world we live in, the easiest way is go to the website, BAMMC.com. Click book online. You'll see the schedule, see what times work best for you. It's 2:00 in the morning. I'm not going to answer the phone at 2:00 in the morning, but hey, you can book an appointment right then and there, and you'll be able to get in to see me as soon as possible. If not, old school, call me 844-789-2266, which is BAM.
Well, you'll be proud of me. I went to bed at 9:30 last night.
I love it. Good job.
I was so exhausted. I got up at 5:30. I was like, wow, I'm not tired. I can't get up at 5:30. I'm like, well, yeah, if you go to bed at 9:30, you can actually get up at 5:30.
You can, yeah.
Wow, you get so much more done before the show. And there you go. All right, Doc, appreciate it. We will see you next week. Thank you very much.
That's great. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
BAMMC.com. That's where you go. I want to get to some of the comments here before we check out of here. Let's go back to Richie P here. We got some new guys chiming in, by the way. We appreciate that. Christopher Cole, I love you, man. Can't wait to OTA start. That's tomorrow. We'll have full reports on all that stuff. No way Doyle family buys the Rays. No way. Why do you say that, James? Why do you say no way if he's interested in it? Doyle's by the Rays, there will be a ton of partners. Oh yeah. It's just not going to be a singular one. And I think maybe that's what Major League Baseball wants. They want local ownership, and they can, again, Stu Sternberg was a limited partner. He had tons of other partners before he, according to the website, unscrupulously forced them out. Not the website, the lawsuit. So yeah, I think it would be a collective, and I think there would be a lot of local folks that would be interested in jumping in there. Richie P says Dex Imaging lent its name to Marlins Premium Club seating when Jeter was there. Oh, see, it's interesting because a couple of years ago, and I even talked about this on the show, we were starting to hear that Derek Jeter's thing with the Marlins was going a little bit sour. And I said it was interesting. I said, would Jeter be interested in maybe getting back in the game with the Rays in a local group here? Obviously, Jeter lived here for so long. And they said now he's not part of the Marlins anymore, by the way. Interesting. Start connecting the dots there with Derek Jeter, who wants to be in baseball ownership. And he got screwed out of that deal in the Marlins. I don't want to get into the specifics, but he wants to be in baseball and he wants to be in ownership. Interesting. Thank you for connecting that dot, my friend. Jordan G says, I've said this before, but hitting home runs into the river on the West Riverfront Rome Yard development of Ybor doesn't work out if Ybor doesn't work out is quite fine. Yeah, I know, Jordan, you like that across from Blake High School, across from Armature Works. I just don't think the access would be great there, as well as it would be in the Ybor area. I just, there's, your Brightline train train station would be about 2 or 3 blocks from the Ybor. It would be considerably further from that part. So I know the Rays like the marina area, and the marina, that provides water too. Now, you wouldn't be hitting home runs into the water because it would be enclosed, but maybe we'll get another Rays tank. We'll have a Rays moat in the back. How about that? We'll just do a moat all the way around the outfield. So the moat will separate the field from the fans. So we'll have a moat there. We'll have a field, and then the wall, and then like a clear. You can see the Rays swimming all the way across center field and right field, and we'll have an open tank, and we'll get rid of PETA, or we'll pay them off, so we don't have to have a net over it, and then the ball can land in the tank. Did we fix that? Hope so. The Dreamers do have a good mascot in waiting, Pedro Pantalones. Shut up, Richie P. Yeah. Water taxi, trolley, and scooters and bikes all can be taken to the game. Yeah, think about that. You get the water taxi, and you got the whole thing, the ferry coming from St. Petersburg as well. All the thousands of St. Petersburg fans that go to the games can get on the ferry and come on over to Tampa, or maybe not. What else we got here? Braves won't give up their TV rights in Nashville. I predict it'll be Salt Lake City and Charlotte, one in each league. I think Nashville is just. I think they're just too big and burgeoning of a city for Major League Baseball to ignore. I don't know. I think, and they've got money too, and they've got ownership and all that fun stuff as well. All right, folks, that'll do it for us today. I'm sure this will not be very smooth getting out of this show today, but we'll give it a show. Now, see, that's not it either. Let's try this. In the meantime, there we go. Actually got that one right. All right, our thanks to Dan Lucas, who joined us, El Bushman, John Gerber, and Chris Lugo. Sorry for the technical issues, gang. We will see you next time. And Nick will be back tomorrow, hopefully. We hope. We'll see you then.
Catch the JP Peterson Show Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. In the meantime, check out the podcast section. Catch the JP Peterson Show Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. In the meantime, check out the podcast section. Catch the JP Peterson Show Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. In the meantime, check out the podcast section. Catch the JP Peterson Show Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. In the meantime, check out the podcast section.